How's it going, everybody? So we get this set up here. You click one thing and 5 things pop up. Hey, how's it going, Drew? Is that showing up right? Okay, cool. Sorry, I had some music going on in the background. I couldn't hear what the hell I was saying. Alright, well, we're just going to be streaming for a little bit today. Not sure how long. Just working on some line art for Jesop King. As you do. As you do. Oops, that's what's missing. Reference. Hey, Keeman, how's it going? Project Angerman, welcome, welcome, welcome. How's your guys' weekend going so far? Hey, Hero, welcome, man. You got like the same crew from yesterday. Yeah, I like it. Alright, let's put debris. Yeah, there's been a lot of really cool stuff coming out of SDC, eh? Am I saying right? SDCC, that's what it is. Never been. Anybody else? You guys ever been there? Been to the big show? Alright, let's keep it going here. So yesterday I was talking a little bit about I don't even know if I could come up with what the hell I was talking about yesterday. I was all over the place. It was like a mix of combining Burnout, which I don't know. It's a thing, but it's not really a thing. It's a thing if you allow it to be. I do believe, even though I guess sort of with what I was saying yesterday, with like Burnout it's a thing, but it's really up to you to combat it in a lot of ways, right? Because I know it's only been 24 hours since we've been talking about this stuff, but I was doing a little bit of thinking last night about it while I was playing some Legendary. If you guys haven't played that game, if you guys like solo deck building games and you like Marvel or just superheroes, highly recommend it. Great game. You can play by yourself too, so you don't always need like a group of people if you're an artist, or if you're like me, just a loner. But I just started thinking a little bit more of like advice I give to people and advice I've heard and advice I give and all that crap about it's this one saying that's always stuck with me, but I guess, you know, for whatever reason I just forgot about it while I was in my little funk there, which is to say that if you want to be something like a position or a job or a career or anything like that, in my case a comic book artist, it's in your best interest, sorry for the sniffles today, you guys, it's in your best interest to act as if you already have that position, or if you already are that thing, to build not only good habits, but kind of to convince yourself, I suppose, to lie to yourself that you kind of give yourself a little bit more respect, or things, you'd start doing things that if you were that thing or that person, you you would do just because you have to. So an example is, if you want to be a comic book artist, burnout is a very real thing, but you still have to make pages, right? You still got to work through it. You can't call in sick all the time and all that stuff, right? So I just started thinking a little bit more along those lines again, and it's like, just burnout or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's temporary. That stuff goes away. So just keep making, keep going forward and stuff. I might have picked up, this is interesting too, a client project. It's a comic book client project. Even though I said that I wouldn't, but we might be able to work something out to still, obviously, like, I don't want to stop Jesop King, but like I've been saying lately, or last little while, is I need to get a little bit more aggressive. We're trying to do stuff that could get me a full-time comic job, or at least give that a shot, So Jesop should be enough for sure. I just need to write situations that I think would be a little bit more appropriate for like a Marvel DC. But at the same time, working with people, I kind of miss getting in that comic making group mentality. It's been a very long, maybe a few years now actually, since I've done that. So something might come up, and it just happens to be superhero as well, which is even better. So it's dotting a lot of I's, crossing a lot of T's that I'm looking to, in itches that I'm looking to scratch. So I'll keep you guys posted if I can. We're still just in talks right now. And for those of you asking or wondering about, John, how do I get a job drawing comics? That's not working with like the big companies and all that. I used to have a lot of success finding work, temporary work, like independent stuff. And I'll answer you guys' questions in a second. If you guys do have questions, by all means, jam in the chat. You guys know how this works. Two forums. One was digital webbing, and the other one is, I always forget the other one. Digital webbing and pencil jack. I don't know if that's the case anymore lately. It's been not only through stuff that I do myself, like if you guys are promoting yourself on places, that's great, but Facebook. There's a group called, I think it's Connecting Writers and Artists or something. And there's something crazy, like I think it's over 20,000 people, maybe around there. So you can just make a quick post saying, you're so-and-so, you're looking for this, looking to work with somebody that, like a writer or something, and you're an artist available for work. You just make a post and go from there. Facebook, as much as Facebook sucks, there's a lot of opportunity and stuff out there. So I recommend checking that out if you're in the market to maybe get some freelance work like I am. Just for a little bit. Because we'll see. And like I say, hopefully I can keep working on Jesop King. I don't want to stop it at all. But I need to get super serious about getting a little more aggressive with trying to get a job. Or at least seeing what's out there. Like, even like a temporary job or something, just to give it a go. That's one of the things I've wanted to do for a while. So we're going to keep going. Jesop King's it's not going to stop, like I say. We'll keep the project going, all that fun stuff. So just some more stuff to... Hopefully I can stream it with you guys. I always like to ask when I work with clients and stuff, right? Like, do you mind if I live stream it? Most people, they're cool with it because it's just promotion and stuff, right? So you guys hopefully will get to see me drawing some other stuff. I know I've had comments, a lot of people, not a lot, but a few people, they're tired of looking at Jesop and all this stuff. Like, this stuff here is interesting to a select group of people. Some people just like to see start and finish over like a 5-minute video. Some people, not a lot, go through like, the hours of content and stuff, but put it in the background or whatever, or speed up the video so that they can still see how another artist or whatever goes through the process of making a comic. And one of the cool things too, guys, what I'm excited about is because Jesop King's going to start to get down this route again as well, but if this gig works out, I'm not sure yet. We're still ironing out details. Is we're gonna start drawing cities again. Ugh. In cars and real stuff, not this space stuff that I enjoy drawing. Whoops. Liz, how's it going? Hi, I am also a digital artist from Brazil, but I'm trying to make streaming with my PC screen, but I think my internet is terrible. Do you mind sharing your configs? Yeah, sure. One sec. Let's see if I got it up here. File. So I'll make sure I'm not showing too much. Okay, so this doesn't tell me anything. Okay, so what I use is a piece of software called OBS, which is open broadcast software. It's free. There's other things you can use. That's just the one I use. It's actually really slick. You can record video right to your desktop, and it just gives you a little bit of flexibility if you want to not only just stream, but re-upload the videos in case you're not streaming on YouTube or something. So it's called OBS. You can go on there. A lot of sites, including YouTube, once you set up your account and you go to click upload, there's a little button that says stream, I think, stream live. You click that, and then you're going to get presented to another screen that's going to let you just see a whole bunch of stats as well as the stream itself. But what's cool about that is it'll also tell you the settings that are recommended. You just plug them in, and that's pretty much it. There's not much magic other than that. Besides, like OBS, you can record your screen, do overlays, all that stuff, all right through there. It's pretty simple. Lots of tutorials online. Hey, Pirate, how's it going? Davon, how's it going, my man? Hero, what's the name of that Facebook group? Oh, no, hey, don't worry about it. 1 second, I'll get you guys hooked up. Connecting, is that? Yeah, so it's called Connecting Comic Book Writers and Artists. For those of you watching the recorded version, let me just copy it and I'll paste it to you guys. So there's 21,000 members. I have to imagine a lot of it. Hey, Pillowhead, I have to imagine a lot of the people in the group are artists. Error, try again. What do you mean error? All right, let's try this. It's not letting me post in the chat. Hey, this is my chat. Why can't I post in here? All right, let me just start putting a bunch of spaces in here. Does that work? Wow, that doesn't work either. What? Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out for you. Maybe you don't need all that. There you go. Does that work for you guys? Let me see. Yeah, it should work. The link worked for me. If it didn't work for you guys, just let me know and I'll see if I can figure something out. But regardless, even through that site, I've had a multiple people message me. You never know the reasons why, right? But the thing is, Facebook, everybody, even if you don't have a personal one, it's a great marketing tool. And when you start, if you want to make a living or a business drawing art, it's exactly that. You got to start thinking of it as a business, right? I'm not going to preach to you guys about that stuff, but Facebook is, I think it'd be silly not to be on there, even if you're just looking for work. Because there's lots of like subgroups and stuff that you might want to subscribe to, like other comic book artists and stuff. So check it out. And of course, you'll get people that are interested in working with you, but your page rate might not be right and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good resource. On the top of my lungs. Keeman's already my man. Davon, I have my own webcomic anthology. Whew. I like it, man. So I was actually thinking, just to be totally honest with you guys and girls, It's like, so if I'm gonna look for why look for work? Because I can just draw my own stuff, right? Well, I'm starting to look at it a little bit like this. So Jesop King, I have visions for this project and other books that I'll do that look a certain way. I don't necessarily think this is prime time stuff for like a Marvel DC, but it's definitely a route that I want to go because I think it's, and I could be totally wrong with this, and I'm always open for discussion and what you guys think. And this sort of discussion we've always talked about from many years on this channel, which is, you know, that working with a big company I think is easier than trying to make a living off your own stuff. I think, and that's never really changed. For me anyway, I think that's true. Now, the goal could be to eventually one day make your own stuff, but getting even a little bit of clout or recognition from a bigger company doesn't hurt at all, right? It gives you a little bit of accolades, which are meaningless, but, you know, the general comic book reading public, I think, it's not that they don't care about that stuff, but I think they definitely they gravitate towards stuff that everybody else tells them is great, which means making solo work, like what I'm doing or what you guys might be doing, a little bit harder to get an audience because you're relying on. I mean, on one hand, it's great because the internet allows us to do this, but you're really, really relying on word of mouth and getting out there and hustling and all that cool stuff, which is great because the reward to all that hard work, right, is being able to do your own thing. So anyway, my thought process is I would like to at least get a shot with like Marvel or DC, Dark Horse, anything like that. Like I think a lot of people do, even though I've jumped back and forth on that decision. But I need to just get a little bit more. I suppose it'd be portfolio stuff if you think about it. You know, like I'll always send stuff to editors and all that. But the thing with Jesop is it's not necessarily a portfolio piece in terms of work with those companies, because like this scene here, yeah, this could be in a comic book, but I don't have anything showing really like recent stuff of like skyscrapers and you know what I mean, like New York taxis and grandmas and stuff, right? Like I'm drawing stuff that I think super freaking cool. Big goblin monsters, a mustache muscle man, a guy throwing pokeballs and stuff like that, right? Like I think that's cool. To me, that's why I want to be doing this. But what I keep fighting, and I guess I keep coming back to, is just that fact that I think the quickest solution, because I am looking for a little bit of speed here, which I know I always say, and I believe it too. I feel like I'm kind of like going forward and back with what I'm saying, but definitely looking long term with stuff. So, you know, there's no rush. There's just keep doing stuff and always look like 10 years from now and stuff. And I guess really what's causing me to get this way is I want to try. I want to see what it's like to possibly work on drawing like, you know, like Spider-Mans and Hulks, and just to see what that's like. And then if I find out that I don't like it, then I know I can just go and keep doing Jesop or whatever I want, or, you know, the day job I have is perfect, you know, stay there and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I feel like I'm all over the place, and you know, I'm probably coming across that way too. But either way, so the client thing, how that works in is, you know, it's kind of like two birds stone at the same time, to use a what's it called, Trailer Park Boys reference. Is that I can those projects allow me to work on what I think would be more appropriate stuff to send these companies. Plus, I get to keep making comics, which is great, right? That way I can just keep getting better and better. Never want to stop that. And plus, I get paid too, right? So that always helps. Not that I need the money. I'm not saying I'm rich, but if I can use that money to somehow even put it back into Jesop as well, then that helps too. So anyway, I'm all over the place. Hey Matador, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? Davon, my web thing is more of a self-study thing to get better visual. Right on. Okay, I think this panel is done. Let's turn that all on. Cool. All right. Matador, I always wonder what would happen if I ever got hired by Marvel or any company and I'm given a script to draw stuff I've never drawn, like possessed cows or something. Okay, and I do miss that. That's sort of in vain, Matador. Thanks for saying it that way. That I was talking about of like missing working with people, right? Because the beautiful thing about comics and something that I've always liked about it, of making it, maybe not necessarily reading them, but which draw me to them, is that you can make anything, such as possessed cows, right? Uh, a mustache man here throwing pokeballs, whatever, right? There's no budget. Nobody's gonna tell you no if it's your own thing. Your imagination is key. It's like if you've got an imagination of any kind, and you could just maybe like doing romance things, right? Nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But you can do it. You know, you don't. It's not like film or TV or anything. If you got an imagination, maybe you might not be able to have the technical ability to draw it, but you can hire somebody that could draw it. And one of the things that with working with other people is helping. It's sort of like that team project. You get to help bring somebody else's vision to life, which is great. And at the same time, I do think it's important to always make sure you're not just making other people's dreams come true, right? That you are spending time doing something for yourself. But anyway, I know I'm all over the place right now. But it is a good muscle to exercise too. I recommend at least working with people at least once. Even if you want to be a independent artist, I recommend working with like a team, especially on comic books, at least once in your life. You get to see how other people write, see a whole bunch of stuff. You've been missing in action. Did I miss your stream? No, I haven't been drawing for like 2 weeks, man. I went to Quebec, for my girlfriend's dad's side of the family. They had like a big family reunion thing. But I've just been in like maybe I don't know. Like I say, I don't call it burnout because I don't think it was, but just like just don't want to draw. Just don't want to. I just don't. And it's getting better now. Now that I'm actually doing it again, that's all it's been. Hey John, I guess oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, man. I'll see you in a bit. want to draw. Oh man, it must have been something important, so I'll not bring it up. Oh. No, again, I don't know what the hell it was. I think it was a combination of. Well, this is the thing. Jesop's probably going to be behind schedule now for sure. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on the drawing part because once it becomes deadline driven, I love deadlines and I hate them, just like everybody else. But it's it's a muscle that I have to start exercising more, especially if the route that I'm taking is very deadline driven, right? It really what it was, man. It's as simple as I was starting to. I got in that mindset again where it's like, well, I've been trying to draw, and in air quotes, you're trying to get a job drawing. Hey, Dennis, how's it going? Sean, how's it going? Of if I haven't made it again in air quotes again, and I'll be turning 35. Maybe I just need to slow it down a bit. You know, enjoy the little things. Like I'm insanely envious of people that can come home and just play video games or do what interests them. And most of that's because of the day job that a lot of people have is you're not satiated by that at all, and it's just a paycheck for the most part. But when you come home, that's when you get to watch your sports or and I know I'm not wired that way, but I'm insanely jealous. Not in a bad way. Just I wish it would be nice to experience what that's like. And I think I just gave into that. I started coming home and like I told you guys, that Legendary card game. I love Magic the Gathering. Legendary is awesome. It's kind of a deck. Well, it is a deck building game with Marvel characters and blah blah blah. So I got that, and that was really cool. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna do a iPad Pro review soon because I picked one up. And I'm keeping it this time, and I'll give examples why. But I downloaded this the Marvel Unlimited app. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or if you've ever checked it out. It's like for $10 a month, you get pretty much every Marvel comic. I think it's 6 months behind what's current, but that's more than enough. And it looks awesome, obviously, on like a huge, nice screen. But now I've just been back in the world of comics, and I was taking time off to just do what I want. If I want to watch TV, I do it. And I started to like really hate myself. Not like in a gross way, but I was focusing on going to the gym. Just whatever felt good at the time, I guess, in a way, giving more into, besides the gym I have to do no matter what, but everything else was along the lines of being very pleasure driven. So if something gave me pleasure, I would do that more often. Whereas with comics and stuff, it is still work, and you know what I mean. Like no matter, even if it's your own thing, you got to put in the hours, and sometimes it's not as sexy as hanging out with friends or playing a video game or going to catch a movie. Like that kind of stuff, because you don't have to work for it. It's pure pleasure, right? Where comics, for me anyway, the pleasure. It's not so much in the process. I do enjoy parts of it. This part of the comic making stuff, the line art, I'm not a fan of, but it's the inking and stuff, right? But it's not as sexy, but what I get the juice from is like when a page is complete. I heard this analogy once and it stuck with me for a long time. Finishing a comic book page is like filling your mug with water or juice, or the most delicious thing you've ever had. And once you're done, it's full. And you just get to sip on that or drink it. And if it wasn't for that drink of juice, of comic juice, whatever, if it wasn't for that drink, it would be crazy for you to start another page, because you know how much time, and it's not that fun and not that appealing for the most part. And that might be a screwed up way of looking at it, but it's the way I look at it. I enjoy the result, and I fondly look back on the process unless I'm in it. So I just gave into that sort of stuff, and again, more pleasure driven. And now it's just sort of like I even reached out to Sean. I was talking to him, just wanted to pull his ear a little bit again. Just on some stuff, and ultimately it just comes down to like that's not me. I know why I can't be that person, because I don't actually like. I might get temporarily happy by just not having to do anything and just giving in to temptation stuff, but I don't feel creatively satiated. I don't feel like I just don't. It's not me, right? And I'm glad I'm just I gave it a little shot there, and now I'm just back into doing what I do, which is this stuff. So that was a really long-winded way, as usual, of explaining that for you. And Dennis is saying, yeah, this is probably a more articulate way of saying it. And I've heard this one too, which is if you only withdraw from your bank account, in air quotes here, eventually there'll be nothing left. You got to put money back in there once in a while. Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing that I guess maybe that's the problem. I'm still struggling with what it is that I need to find that I can go to to add to my bank account, because I don't know what it is. It's not just playing video games or hanging out with people. Maybe it's just reading comics or just being just surrounded by comics, you know, in that world. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, we're drawing comics right now, and that's not going to stop. Drew, damn, preach, brother. That's how I've been feeling. I just want to be like other people sometimes, just come home and do nothing. But I got the bug and I have to create. Yeah, I think that's just the way it is. Not everybody's that way, but I think a few of us are like that. There's not much you can do. You just get, all we get to do is pout about it. And, you know, 10 years from now, you get to at least look back and go, at least I was doing stuff, you know. I don't know. You know what I think it might be part of this as well, guys? And you let me know if this is how you kind of feel like it as well. Is I suppose I would consider myself a very I have to be in control personality, not of other people necessarily. More along the lines of like I love to, and I don't follow it all the time. I'm a human. Rarely do I follow this stuff all the time. I would very much like to, but I like to have a scheduled life. Not necessarily in the terms of like, okay, well today I'm waking up at this time and I have to be like not necessarily appointment driven, but I have a to-do list. I like being able to have a reference where I can go back and always pull up information if I need it. Just that feeling of control of my life as opposed to life controlling me, you know? And I think that's the lucrative part. A lot of people, for better or for worse, they're not like that. And they like to just go, you know what, life is as life is, and whatever happens, happens, and I'm just gonna enjoy the ride as you go, as I go through it. And that's like, it can be, for me anyway, I guess, a little appealing, just because it's like it's so carefree, and there's a lot of risk that comes from that, you know. And I think I could just get stuck with the, yeah, but if I do this or if I live like that or something, then like, you know, I'll always be wondering where can I get any, like, how am I feeding myself? Like, there's too many questions. And comics is the only thing, or maybe not comics, just like art anyway, is the only thing that I've ever come across in my life where it's like it's 100% me. It's up to me to take the clients on. I get to choose when I draw. I can say it is 100% mine, even though it might have been a script from somebody else or something. It's me. It's a 100% me, and nobody else was involved, because I had to get the work done. Even if it's a script from somebody, I still had to take that and make it, right? Not in a gloating way of like, oh, I did all that work, look at me, but more of it's a pride thing, like literally taking pride in your work kind of mentality, right? And that's the trigger, is like I'm interested in how can people live that way. It's so dangerous. It's so lucrative, but all the awesome stuff that has come from you know, all the discipline of drawing and working and making your own thing, in a way, a business entrepreneur, even if you're not that successful, whatever that means. It's awesome. And that's what keeps me coming back to this stuff, I think, is it's the one area in my life where I know, and this might sound pig-headed or anything like that, but it's the one thing where I know that I feel like I'm good at it, and I'm getting better the more I do it. And I love the fact that you guys come in here and ask for, you know, you guys got questions and stuff, and I reach out to some of you guys and ask you guys like some questions too, and you guys it's like a big circle, you know, and everybody's helping everybody out, but it's the one spot in life, for me anyway, I guess, where it's like a secret community of people that are into this stuff, and we're all, you know, tired, and we're all struggling, and we're all happy, and we're all doing whatever, and we all want, like, how do I get better, and all this stuff. But I feel like maybe it's just, I don't know, I think a lot of people that sort of live that life of carefree attitude stuff, they don't get to experience this part that I'm talking about right now of like, what would be the word, like what would it be called that you are like a, I'll just call it a craft. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but like a master, or at least you're an apprentice or something in a specific craft, a trade. You know, like you have an ability or you do something that most people can't do or choose not to do, and that has some. There's a beauty in that, and I definitely think that's the one thing that makes this whole thing awesome. It's not for vanity or anything like that. It's just I know it's my own thing, and there's a bunch of people in the chat right now and watch the videos or other people's videos and stuff. You guys are all part of that circle too. You guys are all doing your thing too. And that's awesome. Anyway, let me just scroll up here because you guys are jamming the chat. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Hero wants to okay, Matador was saying, so basically you needed a break. It happens. Is that really what you want though, working for Marvel DC? You know what it is? What I really want to experience, it's like working out. I think it'd be awesome to one day in my life have a six-pack. Not even a six-pack. Let's say drop to 200 pounds. I'm like 230, 240. I don't think I'm morbidly obese at all. Like I got some chunk, you know? I call it the artist chunk. A lot of artists, they've got that because we don't do much, right? But I would like to experience what life would be like on that side to make a better educated decision. So for the Marvel DC stuff, I love Marvel. I love Marvel. DC is, whatever. I would still work there because I want to be, it's kind of like, not that the grass is greener on the other side, but there's a whole comic book business that's been around for we'll say, is it 70 years, 100 years, around there? And that used to be the place that you would go. Because of the internet, that's not the case anymore. You can do your own thing for sure. But I want to know what it's like over there, because once I know, and you can ask people, but it's not the same, right? What's it like having those deadlines? What's it like going to the conventions? What's it like responding to or talking to an editor? What's it like being in a group of people that make comics all day, every day, and they're paid? You might not think it's a lot of money, but it's enough to keep most people, afloat. Give you some savings, some cash, and you get to draw stuff and all. I just want to know what that life is like. I think you could totally do it with independent work. It's just a longer road, I suppose. And I've always believed that even if you worked at these companies, you're going to gain fans because you're marketed to a much grander scale of people. And you never know what comes from all that stuff, right? I'm just in search, I guess, and I've been for a while. But I guess maybe it's just more on my side that I haven't been as aggressive as I probably should be with it. Of just seeing like there's a comic business, whether it's about to burst or whatever fear mongering you might want to hear from like Facebook or other sites. Like what's it like? Because once you're let's say you even let's say you work from Marvel for a year. If let's say you're lucky enough to, let's just do 6 months. You get put on for like $2 or $3. You now have more information to base like other things on, such as, do I really want to do this? I get a kick out of making my own stuff. I always will. I think everybody does. But I would be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy working with other people. And I do miss that for sure. But boy, do I still like drawing my own stuff. Not just licensed all the time. But again, that's really what the crux comes down to, because right now, it's sort of like how I started this saying, letting you guys know about it, is like, what other options are there to replace your day job? Just to see if it's something you want to do. I made a tweet last night asking, or maybe it was the night before, asking if anybody can think of any other artists that are making a living doing their own comic books through Kickstarter, because I can't really think of anywhere else where you could get the money to like live. And I don't think anybody's living off Kickstarter, but especially for comics, I think it's more just out of a curiosity I've had for a very long time. and then you could figure out. Not that I can't do some of this math right now, but you could figure out if like, okay, well, maybe my own comics is the way to go because that's how it gives me happiness and whatever the hell that means, right? So I know this goes a lot of places, but I do definitely think that giving it a shot is worth it. Giving both sides a shot, you know, like making your own thing and seeing if it could turn into something, as well as working for a company. You never know, right? Like I said, the company I work at right now, the video game company, I only, like I said this yesterday in yesterday's stream, I only got that job because I dropped out of animation, and I met a teacher in that class that he left, and like 10 years later bumped into me while I was working at EB Games and Dollarama at the time, 2 part-time retail jobs, and he ran into me and said, hey, they need a designer, send him a resume. I did, and I was like, I'll take that job because it's an art job, you know. I didn't really have any, I like video games and stuff, so let's try it out. And like that doesn't make sense, like logically, that step to get that job, most people go to school to get a job doing what I'm doing, right? Because that's what they really want to do. So it doesn't make sense, like how sometimes life just doesn't make sense and it's all super random, you know what I mean? And that's really just, I guess, what it comes down to. And that's why I want to try a little bit, even a little bit more harder, I suppose, of just what's it like over there. Nobody knows what happens on the other side, right? But it's nice to just to try it out. That's really what this has come down to. Because you never know, right? Like, let's say I got to do, I'll just say the Hulk, because I love the Hulk. I get to do the Hulk, maybe get a little bit of a following there, and I start doing Jesop King again on the side, or whatever else on the side, or people find out whatever, and now I could get like 1,000 people to buy a $20 book, right? Like that's what, $20,000 a year. Like you could live off that. I mean, some might not be able to, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's ways you can do this kind of stuff. So I don't know. My brain's just thinking and stuff like that. Try reading books. I might have to get back into it. I recommend it. I can't recommend it enough, honestly. Marvel Unlimited, if you like Marvel. I don't think DC has one. I think if you live in the US, you guys are lucky. You get Comixology for like $6 a month or something like that. You get access to like everything. I highly recommend it. I actually much prefer reading comics now on my iPad. Like it's the big one, so it's gonna look awesome for sure. But you can read it from your phone, all that stuff, and it's just cool to just dive in every now and then. I think if that's even something that interests you for sure. Sean is saying there are plenty of times I come home and I just want to play a video game for an obscene amount of hours, and then I think about how guilty I feel for not getting anything done. Okay, Sean, I'm just gonna add to that to ask you in this as well, because I feel like this. So I'll come home. Let's say I'm burnt out. I'm going to play, we'll say Legendary, or we'll play a video game like you're saying. I want to play a video game, but then I start to think, man, but I've only got like 3 hours left of the night. I really should at least put in, can't I put in half an hour? And then that back and forth happens for a while, and then you end up doing nothing. Maybe just watching YouTube or something. Dennis saying, it's like an obsession, you can't completely quit it. I know, man, it's hooked right into the veins. It's called OCD, that's... I try to help my wife organize her stuff, and she does not like that. Absolutely, I do think, yeah, everybody's a little wired differently. Sorry, where are we going here? Hero, with all the projects, wife, kids, life, and now commissions and conventions, I have no other choice but to create schedules and do lists. Yeah, I should add that too. The lists and stuff that I do, 100% are like creative stuff. So I have Patreon and things where I need to get people artwork and stuff. Plus, do tutorials, things like that, do my own work. If I don't schedule that stuff, I'll be spinning so many plates that I'm not even aware of. So I have to keep track of that. As for like home stuff, it's a little bit more lax. Well, thank you for saying that, Hera. I appreciate that. Thank you, Matador. Thank you. Davon had a 6-pack and lost it. Taunting's he's getting scared of the love. Sean, Jason Brubaker does a lot of Kickstarters for Skirdo and stuff. He pretty much makes a living from art. Yeah, he absolutely. I think he's probably the only one that I can think of that stands out. There's also what's his name? What's his name? Oh, he's doing a book, Skyheart. I think that's his next one. Jake Parker, I believe is his name. I just don't know what he does for a full-time job though. I don't know how he gets his money. Exactly. Sean's talking the real talk. I think a lot of it too, guys, comes down to like, and I've been a big proponent of this, and you can start to notice this as well. I think if you're trying to be aware, is habits. It's always about your habits. Good habits, bad habits, and it's up to you to decide which you think is a good and bad habit in your life, because everybody's gonna be different. Some people coming home, and playing a video game or whatever, as soon as they get home, they don't think it's a bad habit. And I'm not going to tell anybody what's a good or bad habit for them, because it's different for everybody. Some people need to charge up with whatever, gets them going. I think it's just getting back into what I consider were good habits will iron this stuff out. Right now, I generally feel like there's a time crunch as soon as I get home. I've only got like X amount of hours, which is true. But what am I? It's more. I heard this one saying. I forget who said it, but it was like it's. Some people ask like, how do you say productive? Like, how many hours of sleep do you get a day? Like, if you're gonna do you wake up at 5 in the morning? Like, how do you get? It's not necessarily how much you sleep. It's how much you get done when you're awake. That matters, right? And it's good habits are gonna help keep that stuff going. And that's all. Just going back to the good stuff. And sometimes you just kind of have to, I think anyway, you have to kick your habits in the ass sometimes just to kick them back into gear. You get lazy with your habits. You're like, well, this week I'm just going to take off. Oh, God. Just the thought of taking a week off is fucking horrifying. Matador is saying, Jake Parker and Brubaker are living the life I want to live. I need to know more about their life. Like, what is it they do, for the most part? Like I always know about Kickstarters. I know, at least what I've understood anyway. Like Jason Brubaker anyway. Like he gets paid through Webtoons to make his comic. Like there's things that they're doing that. Again, I don't know what they're doing to be able to maintain that as a full-time gig. Maybe their expenses are just so low. I know Jake Parker, at least from like following his streams and stuff, or his Instagram and stuff. Like it looks like he's got a couple kids and a wife, right? So that brings your expense rate up a lot. So there's angles here that I'm interested in figuring it out. But if it's, I wonder if they just work for other companies as well, or like what companies they do work for. Just interesting stuff to think about. He makes like 20 to 30,000 every Kickstarter. But like he doesn't do a Kickstarter every year though, right? Like that's, or does he? I wonder too. Maybe some of it is like it's you know, you get commissions and you're doing other stuff. Like it's a freelance artist lifestyle if that's what they're doing. If they don't have like a day job they go to, right? Like here's a very real question to ask some of you guys out there. I ask myself this a lot. For those of you out there that own a home and you're paying a mortgage, would you be willing to, even if you got a family, move out of your house, get into an apartment that's much cheaper, so that you could lower your cost of living, so that you could do freelance art? 'Cause that's like a real question, you know. Because if the answer is no, like that might just be the reason why you're chasing this dream all the time that never happens. I know I'm kind of scared of that. Like I'm paying a mortgage. I enjoy having a house and stuff to some extent. A lot of times it can kind of suck when you got to do repairs and stuff, but I don't know. It's like if I could give up this so that I could save an extra $500 a month, let's say, somehow, I don't know. Would I get any further in art and stuff? I don't know. Because then you could take more chances and garbage, right? Do 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 do. Dennis, nice man. Sean, I think for Jason they moved to where it would be cheaper to live, but for Jake, I think he takes on a fair amount of freelance and book tours and stuff like that. I think you're right on that one. Hey, Undead, how's it going, man? He just got caught up. Before the days of Patreon and Kickstarter, there were quite a few webcomic artists making a living doing comics. Mega Tokyo, Penny Arcade, PvP. But keep in mind that a lot of people don't consider webcomics to be real comics. Still, they're professionals in the sense that they can make a living off the craft. Yes. Matador. Komami, how's it going? How you doing? I don't know why I said your name like that, but how are you? Actually, here, you guys might be able to help me out. Do you guys know how? Okay, let's say. Okay, you see the circle? I want to make it look like this. Okay, I want to make it do like the speed line, like almost like the whole thing, but like speed line around it. Now the problem is, you know, this is the question. Do you guys know what ruler, if there is a ruler to use, so that I can do that effect? So the rulers I'm finding for a circle is it just makes it a circle and you can only trace around that circle. I can't do like, you know, if you were to do a 1 point perspective on in Clip Studio and you could do like speed lines yourself, like you paint in the, you draw on the lines, you know, so they look like, you know, you could do something like this even though it's all in perspective. I can't find that at all for a circle. So do you guys know how to do that? Coloring, your coloring tips help me at John. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you were able to get some help, man. Or lady. Okay, see, so I thought it would be like, I don't know. I think I just have like a setting turned on or off that I can't. Maybe it's this special ruler Focus curve. Concentric circle. Let's... Maybe I found it. Oh, I did find it. Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, so awesome. We just found it. Just I was searching for this like a few streams ago and I couldn't find it for shit. All right, so here I'll show you guys where it is if you guys want to do what I'm talking about here. All right, so go to your ruler settings and it's under special ruler. And at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me bring it up here. It's right here, concentric circle. You get a whole bunch. I usually use like focus line if it's a 1-point thing. Right there, concentric circle. Steep of angle, I'm not sure what the hell that means. So let's make a layer. Let's just try to get it close. Cool. Alright, well, this should work. Okay, I don't know what the hell just happened. There we go. Alright, let's put some stank on it. Putting that spin on it. Alright, so let's turn all the KO layer back on. And we are going to erase this stuff. Oh no, didn't we change this? Shit. Where did this go? Okay. Window brush size. No, window brush detail. Where's my layers? There we go. By the way, did you already sell your Huion GT220? Oh man, sorry. You said there's something not right when you're drawing with it on Photoshop. Have you ever tried the tablet on Clip Studio? No, I didn't sell it. It's actually, I have it at where I work, and I brought it there because I use at work. Whenever I do digital drawing, I use Intuos, and I figured, well, what the hell? I'm not using it at home. Maybe I can just bring it at work and try it. And it worked for a little bit, but you know, I don't draw that much at work. It's mostly just like Photoshop stuff. So Intuos is actually better, in my opinion, for what I do at work. But to answer your question, no, it's really just a monitor right now. I had tried it in Clip Studio, and what it was, I think it was just a dead area on the tablet. So like, let's say this is the surface that you would draw on. Around this area here, every time I would draw, it would do something like that. So I was just trained to draw here, and it kind of I don't know, it bugged me. And I didn't have a screen protector on it too, so it felt very much like drawing on glass. And I was used to drawing on the Cintiq, and the Cintiq has it's glass, but there's like a little bit of like a matte feel to it as well. And I enjoyed it. Like I said in those videos, if you've never used a Cintiq, you probably wouldn't know what you're missing, and I don't think you're missing enough to not buy the Huion or anything like it. And if you're a professional artist, like when I say professional artist, I mean like that's obviously your job, or you draw to make money more than just a hobby, then maybe look into a Cintiq. But I do know that there's professionals as well that use like Huions and stuff like that. So it's not. It was just more so what I was used to. That's all. And now I'm using. I bought the bigger Cintiq. I'm using I think it's the 21. Is it 20? Might be 21 UX. So it's the old model that's like a square. And this was made around the same time that the old one that I was using, the small one, the 12WX. So it's like the same screen and stuff. So I'm very used to this thing. Yeah, Davon's saying he loves his Cintiq 13 HD. If anything happens to my Cintiqs, I know I have the old one now, but the 13, that would probably be the next one I would have bought. It's totally fine. If you can get a second monitor so that you can you don't have to always zoom in and out, then you're laughing. Jonathan, now that you've had a couple of weeks with those 3,000 perspective grids, do you? Okay, to answer that fairly, I haven't drawn in like 2 weeks, right? So I haven't given it a thorough run. I don't think it's worth it. It depends what you do, right? Like, it depends also on your level of competency with perspective, right? If you can freehand a quick perspective grid like I can, I don't think it's necessarily needed. It is nice to have. Sometimes it's really good too for like starting a drawing. If you're into concept art, it's definitely awesome for that because you can just plop in a grid and then just draw over top of it. You don't get it does save some time, even though you have to go through the whole thing. And for some people, looking at different perspective grids lets your imagination take over and imagine what could be in there. So like the price is pretty steep, I'll be honest with you. Um, if money isn't necessarily an object, then go for it. Uh, if you struggle with perspective, I mean, I don't think it would help, but it would definitely, speed things along. So I'm sorry I'm like not really answering your question. I guess it just depends. The value is going to be different for everybody. Like I'll give you an example of something that I used it for. I don't know if you were here. Let me see. Maybe it might be on a different page. Okay, so something. Well, actually, this first panel is probably the best example here. So let's turn this off and go to the silhouettes here. Right, so I had an idea of what I wanted this to look like, right? So I just popped this grid in here, and what that let me do is now I could just sort of like, okay, where I can put figures in here, buildings and stuff, right? So right, and all it took me was just looking through my folder and just copy paste. I will say this though, 100%. If Manga Studio, or Clip Studio I should say, if Clip Studio was like Manga Studio 4, where you could just click grid and it would auto-populate the grid lines, you wouldn't need it at all, I think. But Manga Studio 5 it's a little different. You can still get a grid with Manga Studio 5, but it's a little, like I say, it's different. Matador, grids help me a lot, but there are plenty of free ones out there. Undead Orc. I use Clip Pseudo Paint's built-in 3D tool grid asset I downloaded. You can manipulate the grid room till it gets the perspective you want. Cool thing, it's easy to add other 3D objects later. That's pretty neat. Matter, I'll be honest with you, I purchased that course by KM Russell and I have fallen asleep every single time I started watching. That's the coloring one, right? I think I'll take it serious when I have pages in to get a color. Okay, I was just going to pass up on half the price. So yeah, go on. Okay. No, I get it, man. It sucks that you're falling asleep, though. Kijiji's blowing up, man. Sean saying I have mostly stopped using grids. I typically have a reference and just freehand as much as I can. Tight names. Or I just use the box. What's the box method? Is that where you just draw everybody in a box? Like the perspective grids in a box? Because some of your perspective looks like, you know, legit. Hey Darren, how's it going, man? Joining the chat late. Where did you? I have no idea, man. Whew. Give me a second. Yeah, Twisted, 1965. Yeah. Trying to find where I shared it. I thought I shared it to my art page. Well, all right then. Shit. Let me. Perspective grids. Gumroad. I hate searching Gumroad, man. Here, let me check. I think because I saved it here. Art. Vidar Eriksson. Let me see if we can find that. Oh, is it on Cube Brush? Maybe that's where I was looking at the wrong one. You take it down? What? Wow. Okay. Well, shit. Damn it. So it looks like it's 50% off right now. So it's $9.50. So I paid like $20 for this thing. Here, check it out. Okay, Sean. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. I usually do that as well. You're right. It's totally effective. Yeah, you're welcome. Alright guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the line art for this page. And then I'm going to go have some lunch. Some lunch. Choking on my own spit. Anyway, and then I will stream again. So if you guys are still around, cool. If you're not subscribed, feel free to do so and you get a little notification. Shouldn't be more than an hour. Let's take a little break. If it's at all possible, what my goal here is today anyway, is to finish all the line art. If I can get into inking, hey, huge gains. If not, that's okay. Got 2 pages of line art to do after this one, and then we can get to the inks. Trying to get back in the good habits, right? Of drawing lots. Lots and lots every day. Oh yeah, no problem, man. Yeah. Finally got, finally got there. Everything will follow. Oh, you downloaded it, did you? Yeah, man. Hope it helps. Yeah, no, I downloaded it when it was like $20. So now that it's on sale, I don't think it's necessarily a steal, but it's definitely it's more appropriately priced, probably. Well, like what I tried to say earlier is I've kind of been out of drawing for about 2 weeks. I enjoy it just because you can just, I can do a thumbnail, and from that thumbnail, I can just quickly look through. Well, not quickly, but have an idea in my head of what the perspective grid is probably going to be like. Like 1 to 3 point perspective. Is it going to be above people, below people, that kind of thing? And then I can just look in there, copy, paste, and then start drawing on top. And then if you need to use a perspective ruler, you can always just toss one on that grid, and then make your straight lines and stuff, right? Some people will never get value out of that, and that's okay. Excuse me, sorry about that. Oh yeah, if you're definitely trying to work on backgrounds, I think it'll help. Okay. Let's save that up. So I'm going to answer Project Angerman's question here, and then I'm going to take off for lunch here. Hey John, do you have any tutorials on setting your page size up, resolution, and whatnot? Thanks. So, I mean, I can quickly show you guys, I guess, how I do Jesop King stuff. If you're doing 11 by 17, it's a little different. Just change your stuff or whatever, right? So, when you make a new document here in Clip Studio, you can click this comic page, and you can put in all your dividing lines and all that stuff, meaning like your live area, your bleeds, and all that. What I like doing myself, just because I'm a lazy bastard. I mean, like once you set that up, you're fine. But I like having. You can download this from other people as well. Like you can go to Freddie Art. Freddie Williams has a whole bunch you can buy, like Marvel ones, DC boards, all those things that are made digitally, or you can make your own. I like having a piece of paper that sort of has those crop marks. So just so you can check this out, I don't know if it has it in the comic page part, but right here in the document stuff, you can have like, you can put your own preset pages and stuff. So what does that mean? Well, for me, what I do is I sort of make this master one and save this as like a page, so that every time I open it, it's already actually here. Let me just show you guys, so I'm not just talking. WEBComic, I think I have it. Where's it? Paper? No, right here, I think. Guide. This might be it. Let me see. Nope. Paper might be in there. Okay, so see, I'll have different ones. I like to work at 600 DPI for line art, and then when I do coloring, I scale it back down to 300. But for line art, do what works best for your computer. Some people can't handle 600, so try 400. Try 450. 300 is more than fine. If you can go higher, you might want to try it, because like I find when I go 600, my line quality gets a little bit better. I don't know what the hell that's about, but that's just it. So I do this. This is based off of, like, again, the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics, and that's about Photoshop files. In Clip Studio, you can make stories that contain pages. I don't work that way. I know a lot of people do. And I think it's a great tool, so you can check that out. But what I do is each page is its own thing. So I save, like, and I'm using air quotes here, a comic page, right? So if you look, I'll run you through. And this is why I do it this way, because when I open this, I can save this as like page 26, right? But it comes with pre-made folders that I have in here. So I have a folder for my thumbnail. I have a folder for my breakdowns. I have a folder for my panels and my gutters. And I have a panel for my credits and guides. So what this would be is, you can see Jesop King's always on the corner there. And this blue, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in. This is my live area. That way I know I just need to put my like when I make my gutters and stuff, they're always in there, okay? So when I have all this stuff, it's pretty much ready for me to go. So I'll open up my thumbnails just so you guys can see how I put this together. Chapters, thumbnails. I think this is like the first little bit. Let's just go through here. Yeah, so here's like page 1 of the comic, okay? So what I'll do is, let's just combine all these layers. Now I could scan a picture, I could scan a drawing, I could take a picture with my phone. This just happened to be a document that I have for digital thumbnails. So I'm going to copy that. We're going to come in here, and then I go to my thumbnail layer or folder, and I just paste it in, and you can see it's, you know, it's there, but it's not to the right size. So I usually lower the opacity a little bit so I can see, and then I transform. I get gross with it because it's just a thumbnail, and I try to line it up to my grid. Or not my grid, my cutoffs that I've already established there. Remember that blue line I showed you? And then from here, right, I'll go into my panels and gutters, and I've already got these already set up. So I'll go to frame, and I'll go to Jesop King WEBComic, right? And if you have your rulers and stuff set up, your guides, you could do this automatically. I don't. So I just sort of eyeball it. Just sort of, I'm carrying over a Photoshop workflow, is what this is. And then I turn off this white so I can't see it, and then I just cut. Use the cut tool. So you go here, hold shift, right? It's going to cut that. And I'll do it again here. There's some other things you can do as well, like to change a lot of the sizes and stuff, but that's fine for now. And then this layer up here, I just go rasterize. That way it saves a copy. Oh, it's the wrong color. It's supposed to be black. There we go. Right? And there you go. So I've got this. That's ready to go. Let me just put all this in my panels there, right? So that's done. My credits are done. My thumbnails, they're there. And I can just lower my thumbnails from here, right? And then the breakdown, I make a new layer, and then we get to work. Then we put on our grids and all that stuff, you know. And I start figuring out all this stuff and tightening it up. And that's pretty much it. That's the magic. Okay, so I hope that helped you out, or anybody else that had a question. If you want, you can feel free to just go back and watch the video, and so you can explain it again. I think I do have a video. It might be an old Manga Studio one. I'm not too sure, but anyway, thank you guys so much. Appreciate hanging out with me. Where is this here? Okay, cool. So anyway, I'll probably see you guys later when I stream again later on. If not, hey, it was great hanging out with you guys. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you at all, and all that cool stuff. So again, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.